Have you ever wondered about the deadliest weapons in the world? What if I told you some of them are invisible and born from nature itself? Today we're going to peel back the shroud of mystery that surrounds one such natural entity, anthrax, a bacterium that is as intriguing as it is lethal. Anthrax, or Bacillus anthracis if you want to get scientific, is a naturally occurring bacterium. It's found in soil all over the globe, waiting patiently to infect grazing animals that happen to ingest or inhale its spores. But don't be fooled by its humble origins. This tiny organism packs a deadly punch. When it enters an animal's body, it multiplies rapidly, producing toxins that can cause severe illness and in many cases, death. But anthrax isn't just a scourge of the animal kingdom. Humans too can fall victim to its deadly effects. And while anthrax infections in humans are rare in the modern world, thanks to advances in veterinary public health, the bacterium has not lost its power to instill fear. It's not just its natural potency that's concerning, it's the potential for it to be used as a weapon. You see, anthrax is a prime candidate for what's known as a bioweapon. That's a weapon that uses living organisms or toxins produced by them to harm or kill. And anthrax fits the bill perfectly. It's highly lethal, it's easy to produce and distribute, and there's no known cure. In short, it's a perfect storm of biological warfare potential. And that's just scratching the surface of what makes anthrax so mysterious and fascinating. There's a lot more to this deadly bacterium than meets the eye, from its discovery and study to its use in warfare and its role in modern biosecurity. So, let's dive into the fascinating yet deadly world of anthrax. In the late 19th century, a breakthrough in the world of science occurred. A German physician and microbiologist named Robert Koch was about to make a discovery that would forever change our understanding of infectious diseases. The year was 1876. A time when the connection between microscopic organisms and disease was still largely a matter of speculation. Enter Koch, a man with an insatiable curiosity and a knack for meticulous laboratory work. He had set his sights on a particular disease, one that had been plaguing livestock for centuries, and was known to occasionally infect humans as well. The disease we now know as anthrax. Koch began by observing the blood of animals that had succumbed to the disease. Under the microscope he noticed rod-shaped bacteria which he would later name Bacillus anthracis. But observing bacteria in the blood of a diseased animal was not enough for Koch. He wanted irrefutable proof that this bacterium was the cause of anthrax. And so, he developed a series of postulates, criteria that must be met to establish a causative relationship between a microbe and a disease. He isolated the bacteria from a sick animal, grew it in a pure culture, then introduced it to a healthy animal. The healthy animal developed the disease, and Koch was able to re-isolate the same bacteria. This experiment provided the first definitive proof that a specific bacterium could cause a specific disease, marking a seminal moment in the field of microbiology. It was a triumph of scientific inquiry, but it came with a chilling implication. If a tiny bacterium could wreak such havoc, what potential did it hold for intentional harm? The realization that these microscopic organisms could be weaponized was an unfortunate byproduct of Koch's discovery. In the hands of the wrong people, anthrax could be harnessed as a tool of destruction, a silent and deadly assassin that could be unleashed on unsuspecting populations. This discovery would lead to an unfortunate realization of its potential for destruction. From a scientific discovery to a weapon of mass destruction, the journey of anthrax is a dark one. World War I is known for its many innovations in warfare, but one of the most sinister is the development of anthrax as a bioweapon. The Central Powers, namely Germany, were the first to take interest in anthrax, seeing its potential as a deadly weapon that could be used to devastate enemy livestock and, in turn, their food supply. They saw the power of an invisible killer that could strike without warning, and so, the journey of anthrax into the realm of bioweaponry began. In the interwar years, several nations, not wanting to be left behind, also began experimenting with anthrax. Notably, the United Kingdom established a secret research facility on Grunard Island, off the Scottish coast, where they tested the potential of anthrax spores as a weapon. The results were chilling. The island became so contaminated that it was declared off-limits for nearly 50 years. As World War II dawned, the research into anthrax as a bioweapon intensified. The United States, recognizing the potential threat, launched its own bioweapons program, with anthrax being one of the primary focuses. Meanwhile, Japan, under the infamous Unit 731, carried out horrific experiments with anthrax on human subjects, revealing the true horror of this deadly bacterium. The Soviets, too, were not to be outdone. After the war, they continued their own research into anthrax, culminating in the Sverdlovsk incident in the late 70s. A leak from a military research facility led to an outbreak of anthrax, causing dozens of deaths and showcasing the terrifying potential of this bacterium when weaponized. This was the dark journey of anthrax, a naturally occurring bacterium, transformed by the hands of man into a deadly bioweapon. The fear of an invisible enemy, able to strike without warning, became all too real. Anthrax was quickly becoming a silent and invisible weapon, feared by many. Anthrax has been used in various instances, striking fear and causing chaos. In the annals of bioterrorism, one event stands out starkly, reminding us of the deadly potential of this bacteria: the 2001 anthrax attacks in the United States. In the angst-ridden weeks following the tragic events of September 11th, a new terror began to unfold. Envelopes containing anthrax spores were mailed to several news media offices and 2 Democratic senators. This was not the work of an international terrorist organization, but of an insider, a scientist working in a top U.S. biodefense laboratory. 5 people were killed by this insidious attack, and 17 were infected. The spores were so finely milled that they could easily be inhaled, making them particularly deadly. This was no crude attempt at bioterrorism, but a sophisticated and calculated act designed to inflict maximum damage. The response to the anthrax attacks was swift and comprehensive. The U.S. Postal Service introduced irradiation of mail to kill anthrax spores. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, implemented a program to monitor and treat those potentially exposed to the bacteria. The FBI launched a major investigation leading to the identification of the scientist responsible, yet the anthrax attacks left a lasting legacy. They exposed vulnerabilities in the nation's defenses against biological threats and highlighted the need for better preparedness. In the aftermath, billions of dollars were directed towards improving the nation's biodefense capabilities. In the grand scheme of things, the use of anthrax as a weapon of terror has been relatively rare. However, the 2001 attacks in the United States underscored its potential for mass disruption and its ability to generate widespread fear. As a biological weapon, anthrax is silent, invisible, and can be deadly in minute quantities. The use of anthrax in these attacks demonstrated its deadly efficiency and the terror it could instill. The history of anthrax, from its discovery to its development as a bioweapon and its use in attacks, is a stark reminder of the dark side of scientific knowledge and its potential for misuse. In the modern world, the threat of anthrax still looms large. This ancient scourge, cloaked in spores, lies dormant in the soil, waiting patiently for the right conditions to awaken. Today, anthrax is not just a disease of livestock and wildlife, it's a silent menace that could be harnessed by malevolent forces. With the advent of biotechnology, the potential for its misuse is ever present. It could be weaponized, engineered to resist antibiotics, or made more potent. The threat is real, and it's here. Yet, we're not powerless against this invisible enemy. Scientists and researchers across the globe are working tirelessly to understand this bacterium better. They're studying its life cycle, its survival tactics, and its weaknesses. Knowledge is our greatest weapon, and every discovery brings us closer to new treatments and preventative measures. Governments, too, play a crucial role in preventing the misuse of anthrax. Strict regulations are in place for handling and transporting these deadly spores. Surveillance systems track outbreaks, and quick response teams stand ready to contain any potential spread. Public awareness is also key. Understanding the signs and symptoms of anthrax, knowing how it spreads, and recognizing the importance of early treatment can save lives. The more we know, the better our chances of stopping an outbreak before it begins. But let's not forget the role of individual responsibility. Each one of us can make a difference. By staying informed, following safety guidelines, and reporting any suspicious activity, we can help keep our communities safe. And so, the story of anthrax, nature's perfect bioweapon, continues. From the pastures of the ancient world to the laboratories of the modern era, this formidable foe has proven its resilience. But as we've seen, we're not without defenses. While anthrax remains a potent potential bioweapon, the power of knowledge and vigilance can help us stay one step ahead. For every threat, there's a countermeasure, and for every challenge, there's a solution. We just have to find it. So let's keep the conversation going, keep asking questions, and keep seeking answers, because the fight against anthrax is far from over, and every piece of knowledge brings us one step closer to victory.